Good morning. This video won't be for everyone. It's going to be a little bit longer, but I want to share with you about a spiritual journey. I've told you about the Metamorphosis is my book that I wrote about my emotional journey. Building a Purposeful Business kind of discusses a lot of my business journey. And I'm working on the pursuit, and it flows out of The Pursuit of God by A.W. Tozer. And had become a Christian early, like at age 21. And I lived all those years growing and studying the scriptures and learning and being in the church and being quite active in the church, an elder later. And yet I had this struggle. I knew that I believed God, who He is, how He had come. So I believed about God. My struggle was always in trusting Him. I knew that I wasn't trusting Him. And so how can I come into prayer with God, who knew that I wasn't trusting Him, and me, who knew that I wasn't trusting Him, and ask for anything? And yet I tried. And so that turmoil stirred within really all my life. And so for me, I had to come to that emotional place first. I had to get in touch with my emotions. And so for me, that was part of it. Having to come to that place where I was a whole being and not the three separate parts. But there are two pieces that really came to life for me regarding this matter of knowing about God versus knowing God. And it is this. First, it was the A.W. Tozer, The Gaze of the Soul, that chapter that he teaches us how we can trust Him, how important faith is in our relationship with God. And, again, all these words I knew, faith is important. And I read that chapter many times over the years because I read him many times, but I didn't get it. And so what, beyond that really closed it for me was when I really came to grips with John 16 and 17, Jesus' prayer to the Father just hours before He's going to the cross. That opened it up for me for this reason. He starts there in John 16:24 with the idea that, before this, you haven't asked anything in my name. If you ask anything, the Father will give it to you, and your joy will be full. And yet He says, you haven't asked anything in my name. And there's a reason for that. Didn't understand all of this. Now, that verse, here John, as he writes this section, is simply recording what happened. He's simply recording the facts as they happened. Later, he writes that epistle of John, his first epistle, and that's where he clarifies this particular verse. It didn't need clarification here because Jesus is just in the midst of teaching them about who He is, and they are just in the midst of beginning to grasp it. But he does clarify that verse. He says, now this is the confidence that we have before Him, that if we ask anything according to His will, we know that He hears us. And if we know that He hears us, then we know that we'll have the request that we have made of Him. So it's the same verse with simply the addition according to His will. Why didn't Jesus say that? Well, Jesus didn't have to say that because He is communicating who He is. And when we come to know who He is, then we know that everything that we're going to ask will have to be. It will be a part of our heart for it to be according to His will. We wouldn't want to ask anything else. So now when we come to that verse, we ask, Lord, what is it that you would have me to ask before we ask anything? And so he opens that up here for me, though, this way. I see that the disciples have come to a place where they say, now we believe that you came from God. And Jesus says, at last you believe. All they believed was that he came from God. And yet Jesus was excited. Oh, at last you believe. But he immediately goes right on. He immediately goes on in that section to tell them there's a whole lot more to just believing. He says that, you're going to be scattered. And when you're scattered, you're going to go to your homes and you're going to leave me all alone. But I'm not alone. My Father is with me. So he wants to make that point right away, that they see there's much more to this thing of believing that the Father is with me. He says, you see, I'm telling you these things so that you may have peace. I'm telling you these things so that when you come to reckon with the world and see that in the world you'll have many troubles, that I have overcome the world. And so you'll see me entirely different as just for who you're seeing me right now. Right now, you're just seeing me as one who God has sent to you. Yeah. And I'm excited for you that you now believe that. So when he goes into his prayer, this is what really opened it up for me. He goes into his prayer immediately after that conversation with the disciples who, like me, believed something about him. They believed about him that he had been sent by God. And so he opens up his prayer and he says, I've been given authority over all people, but there are those that the Father has given me that are his, and those I have the privilege of giving eternal life. He didn't say it that way. But he clarifies right there. He says, now this is eternal life, that they may know you, the only true God, and Jesus Christ whom you have sent. That they may know you, the only true God, and Jesus Christ whom you have sent. Now this is more than knowing about him. This is knowing him. It took me all these years to figure it out. I'd read that many times, but I didn't get it. Like the disciples didn't quite get who he was just yet. It would probably be in the upper room that they did. It would probably be when they found that he had risen from the dead. But at some point in these next few days, they get it. So they didn't take as long as I did. But that opened it up to me. And especially when I hear him end that prayer, he ends that prayer by saying, righteous Father, the world does not know you, but I know you. But I am making them known unto you and will continue to make you known unto them, so that the love that you have for me will be in them, and that I myself will be in them. Wow. When I put all that together, when the Lord opened that up to me and showed me that this whole thing of knowing him is the place at which we come to where we can trust him. Now, it was still hard for me, knowing these facts and understanding this relationship that he had given me. There was still a bit of a gap, and there was still a learning period where I had to come to actually learn to trust him. But it was much easier now because I had come to know him, not just know about him. That's what the pursuit will express in kind of a book form, so that people can reckon with that idea that I just believe that there are many people who are sitting in the pews that won't answer the question, what is eternal life, this way. I think if you ask them about what is eternal life, they might tell you about heaven, or they might tell you about everlasting life, or they'll mention a lot of things about the future, but not about the here and the now. Jesus says, now this is eternal life, that you may know the only true God and Jesus Christ, whom He sent. That's in the here and the now. That's the moment that we receive the gift of eternal life. And yet for me, it was a long time between that, the time that I received the gift of eternal life, and the time that I came to know Him. And you may say, well, was it then or was it now? Did you come to know Christ then or did you come to know Christ now? It doesn't matter. From God's perspective, we've been saved and called with a holy calling, not according to our works, but according to His grace and purpose, which was before the beginning of time. All of that has already occurred. We don't understand no time, but God lives in no time. We can't even comprehend it. But it was before the beginning of time, so within the framework of time as we know it, was it then or was it now? I don't care. All I care about is that it is. So that was my revelation, and I just wanted to share that with you before we go any further about all this business stuff and all these other things, because this is a pretty big deal for me. Thanks for listening.